I want to thank all of you for coming here and spending an evening with us in our Healthy Beautiful Life series. This is our second one, and our first one was so wonderful. It was an event that I left feeling so positive and this great energy, and it was just so nice to have a group of women willing to come together and chat about things that we don't always chat about.
Everything you are doing today is filling up all of your time and taking all of your energy. Like, you're perfectly balanced for the way things are working today. So if we want to go to this place and we're over here in this place, the whole game is how do I get from here to there, right? And it doesn't just happen. We are not magicians. There is no pathway in which you do every single thing you're doing today and new stuff.
And what happens then is that we are giving so much that we're so tired, and it has such a huge impact on our mental health that we are on the verge of heart attacks and on the verge of mental breakdowns. And we're still saying, like, but how can I be better? How can I be more for everyone, right?
What is balanced for me may not be balanced for you. And I think we are always looking externally as, how everybody else is balancing, and we're constantly judging ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think, to me, what I learned through my journey is that I think we need to first figure out what balance is for us, and then kind of equate to the next, when we're feeling however we're feeling in a day. So
it's kind of always, what do I want more? Okay? And so it's like a constant upgrade. That's the practicality of it, is that it really is possible to get the upgrade. But you have to figure out, like, what am I willing to let go of over here? It's not adding a lot of value to you, especially, or maybe other people. And then when you let go of that, you have free hands to kind of like go to the next thing. So I call it like double click. You gotta double click on that problem and go, okay, wait, I gotta really just stop saying it's not solvable and start looking at, like, what could I actually do differently here?
So what it taught me was I had to ask. And once I asked for help, I got the help. But I wasn't used to asking.
And we don't want to ask, right? We want them to just know. Right. But there's a level of, like, they might not just know.
I think there's a level too that if we say no, then like our pendulum might swing and we won't get out of bed. I think there's like a reality to that. Like, if I don't stay up here, I'm gonna drop. Mm-hmm. And so how do we support ourselves in being able to not let the pendulum swing, or let it swing and then like slowly come back? Because that idea of, if I give myself permission, I don't know if I'm coming back anytime soon. Right?
We use an SOS model to kind of go through this, and because like that white flag is waving. Stop. What am I going to just stop doing? Because it's nonsense. This does not need to be done anymore. I'm overdoing something. Okay. What am I going to offload to someone else, which could be someone in our household for free, or it could be somebody we're going to pay for some level of support. And what am I going to simplify? There's some process for each of us that we are overdoing, right? We're just fussing too much with it. We're perfectionisting it. What can we do a little more simply so that we can get time and energy back? And that's it. There is not another. It's one of those three things is how we create a space. And some of that comes with guilt, right? Some of it is like, but I can't not be the one to pack every item in that lunch. That makes me a good mom. And that's those expectations that you're referencing, like, that are often self-imposed.
I know that I always feel like I have to do everything, and it's really hard for me at times to go, you know what? It's okay. I can sit down on the couch and watch Netflix. I give myself permission.
Barely.
But I think that there's little things that's like, what do you do for yourself, right? Like that kind of thing. It's okay to say no. And I think we don't usually always say no.
And that's what I hear us saying, is we haven't paused to like reality check that. Is this viable? Like, we keep adding all these, now sports are 6 states away, and now, we're applying to 20 colleges instead of 3 and whatever. Like, it's just all ratcheting up. And no, we really collectively haven't stopped to go like, is this still actually viable for one? It's not. So then we individually have to keep winding back. And so I work a lot with women mid-30s to mid-50s, like that would be in the sweet spot. And that is the story, right? We kind of learned to wear that as a badge. Everyone we were modeling ourselves after said, the busier you were, the more important you were, right? We looked at women at work and at home. We definitely wanted to do both. And that kind of badge of honor, now we're like, this thing is heavy. Like, I don't even want to wear this anymore.
That awareness is key, because it'll bring you to a place where you think, is it Is it here? Is it because our thoughts and our pattern of thinking and our behaviors are pretty typical if you look back. You have a certain way of thinking about everything. And it's also about the chores you do at home, etc. And so, at least for me, that I started noticing my patterns, and I said, "Oh, is it emotional? Am I feeling I'm not going to be a great mom because I have to go to this meeting and I'm not going to be there for or is it something fear, like down here where our fears are based, anxiety, etc." So once I started recognizing that, I could change. But I think initially the awareness is so important.
As soon as it becomes part of our identity that we're the one who can do it all, we can carry all the stuff, we get everything done, people can count on us, then now it's elevated to like an identity issue of who am I? So I think this is where it starts to come into self-worth, right? Where really is our identity? What gives us a sense of self? Is it our accomplishment? Is it how much we do? Is it the prestige of our job or the size of our house or what? Or is it something that's more rooted in like fulfillment and significance? And those are really different words.
I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, I'm like a generation of 38, and I feel like I when I was young, I didn't have any friends whose dads changed diapers.
Right.
But now that I'm my age and I have kids, I don't have any friends whose husbands don't change diapers, right? So I actually feel like it's a little by little thing, but I actually feel like there's a huge shift in the last 20, 30 years. But even with men that have taken on so much, somehow I still feel like, well, you guys are doing more than ever, but you guys don't seem stressed. Sometimes I just want to know, like, well, what do men have that we don't have?
I think it's a great insight. One of the things they have is the ability to only see the thing they're doing. And we kind of can, from a neuroscience standpoint, we're scanning all the time. So we are noticing all of the undone while they are like super proud of themselves for the thing they're doing. Just by a lot of times they're sort of instinctively in that zone and not looking at all of them, kind of scanning the horizon for all the other things. So we're fighting our biology on that front.
And so what we see in the brain is that when we have so much stress going on, when we're so burnt out, the brain literally can't feel desire and can't feel pleasure anymore.
But what can happen when you're stressed is your pituitary releases certain hormones that can actually cause your cortisol levels to go up. And cortisol is something that can affect things like your collagen, your elastin, again, your acne. And so without you even knowing it, just hormonally being stressed can affect your skin. And I always think of stress, I think when I'm stressed, when I know I'm stressed, I'm like this, right? And then I think, how do my cells feel? Like every cell in my body, if it's like this, like what is that doing? And then how is that going to actually affect, what's being represented? And our skin is representing things that we see, but it's also, there's stress on the inside that you don't see.
To help complete your stress cycle, because usually we're just carrying the stress to the next stressful event, is to do some kind of movement, and that actually helps. So a lot of people say, like, oh, work out at the beginning of your day, but a lot of times if you do it in that, like after you're done working, it helps you feel less stressed because you're actually working through the stress cycle by moving your body at the end of the day.
I'm a really big advocate of thinking about a week at a time, maybe even a day at a time, an hour at a time. Like it's always a chance to start again.